Hey y'all, Christy here. It is Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Happy Hump Day. I just finished my walk. I didn't actually do my recording on my walk because the wind was so loud and blowing me all over the place. I couldn't even barely keep my earbuds in. So I decided to do it outside still so I wouldn't have time to prepare any talking points. And get it posted before I get my day started. Well, my day's already been started. I wake up 5:30 and get my day started. But before I start running some errands and doing some work, got a haircut later. I'm going to change it up a little bit. And got a pedicure. And, like I said, self-care is very important. It's part of looking good and feeling good for yourself. Not for anyone else but you. And maybe you don't like those kinds of things, but you got to find something that you do enjoy just for you and you alone. So that's what my plans are today. Work a little. I worked quite a bit yesterday. Building the business online. And I'll do some more today. And more reading. I've already read my 10 pages, but I don't just stop there. I read throughout the day. I'm also going to be going to my husband's company fireman's ball on Friday. So I've got to make sure I've got everything lined up, to make sure I get my 2 workouts in and make sure I stay on course because I'm on day 44. And there's actually only 31 days left to the challenge. So that's pretty neat. And there's actually only 31 days left in 2022 before 2023 rushes in. And that's going to bring me to my quote and what I was thinking about on my walk. That, now that there's, 31 days left in 2022, was a rough year. I mean, the last 2 years have been rough. They don't even seem like reality. It just seems like a different world that we're living in. And, I myself, I don't know about anyone else, have been, struggling and looking for normalcy and, routines and better habits, to actually feel like your world is complete again. And, I chose to do that soul searching before the new year, but I know typically a lot of people like to start fresh. I know I used to in the past. New year, new me. Guilty of that saying multiple times. And for a while, it typically works, for a month or 2, maybe 6 months. But then I would always revert back to my old habits and mentality, and which is why I chose not to do that and say, okay, yes, 2023 is my year, new year, new me. Stop. My dogs, of course, got to make noise. Got to show that they're here because I'm ignoring them. Any little attention for them. Blue. There goes the other one hacking up a lung, Can't just have any me time. Got to be about them. Got a little Tito's vodka bottle. That's what he's running around with at 10:19 in the morning. His little play vodka toy bottle. Trying to get the other ones to actually play with him, but they have no interest. They're sunbathing. He doesn't let them play anyways. They have to chase him. But anyways, back to what I was saying. On my walk, I was thinking a lot, that everyone looks for a reset, come the new year. And like I said, mine happened before because I didn't want to wait any longer. I took a long, hard look at myself, and it wasn't the direction I wanted to be going, and not what I envisioned where I'd be at this point in time in my life. And that's why I chose to make a change. And that's what I've been thinking about, reflecting on my change. And in order to make my change or to start a new beginning, you have to end something. You know, you have to put something to an end, a behavior, a lifestyle, or a habit. Something has to come to an end in order for a beginning to happen. And that's what made me realize that saying it without recognizing it, I'd never come to an end. You know, if I didn't actually acknowledge it, it would never end. It would just go tucked away, but then it would come back because I never really took the time to find out what needed to end and what needed to change before I could begin a new journey. And you know, there were kind of 4 little steps that, you know, I kind of pieced together from multiple books that I had read, which kind of, they said the same kind of principle, basic principle, to hit that reset button. And I'm kind of just paraphrasing them and summarizing them because they go a lot deeper. But, you know, the first thing, the step in order to end a behavior or a habit or something that just isn't great in your life that you want to change, in order for that process to happen, the first step that you need to do is you need to recognize it, become aware of it. Ask yourself, is this behavior helping me or hurting me? Or is this lifestyle helping me or hurting me? Is it enabling me to be comfortable, complacent? Is my job making me happy? Are my friends a good influence on me? You know, whatever your vice may be, or something that you desperately want to change, or even like me, mine was negativity, you know, being so pessimistic and negative and seeing the glass always as half empty was my biggest issue. You know, I was over that, and that was something I needed to change. And, you know, I loved my job, but I wasn't in love with it. I wasn't happy anymore. And as difficult as it was, I had to recognize that that was a lot of cause of my unhappiness and my stress and my irritability. And, you know, it played a huge part in shaping it, who I had become. And it was time to change that. As hard, like I said, as it was extremely difficult. It was extremely comfortable because I knew what to expect. I was comfortable, I was complacent, but I wasn't challenged anymore. I was challenged in a different way, but it was always the same thing that was the challenge. It was never anything different. It was always the same challenge. So there was no more growth for me, no more professionally or personally. And so as difficult as that was, I had to make that change. And along with that, you know, I had to change my thoughts because they were mainly negative and created this negative environment for me. So that first step was recognizing, you know, what was making me unhappy, or what was making me stressed, or what was making me not a good friend or a spouse or a parent. And then once I identified that, the next step would be to, I did make a cheat note because I knew I would forget how to phrase it. It's not much though, that's about all it is. To reframe it, you know, to find the opposite, you know, reframe what was hindering me and reframe it in a positive manner. So instead of like just simple as the glass is not half empty, it's half full. That simple, something as simple as that. Or I'm a pessimist. I need to be more optimistic. I'm not a great friend. I need to become a better friend. Taking myself too seriously. I need to learn to laugh more at myself. I need to be okay with mistakes. I wasn't okay with mistakes. I was afraid of failure. I needed to be more accepting of failure, learning, you know, and knowing that it's okay to make mistakes, because that's actually how you learn, you know. So it was changing my whole thought process from negative to positive. That was reframing it in a better light. And then after I reframed it, then I needed to release it. So all of those things that were keeping me, like I said, in that box, in that bubble of my comfort zone, I needed to release them. I needed to own them like I did by recognizing them. I need to reframe them and see the other side of it. And then I needed to release that pessimistic, negative, always stressed, perfectionist persona, and let it go. And be okay that, yes, that was who I was, and own it and accept it and say goodbye. I'm not going back to that. So part of that process to end a behavior or a thought or a habit or an action is, the third step is to release it, let it go. And don't hold on to it or don't tuck it away, because it can keep you in that complacency or that comfort zone when you least expect it. It can always come back. So it's to let it go. And then, like, the last thing to complete your journey, which is what I'm on right now, is the retraining and kind of like your reprogramming of your identity and who you are yourself. And that's, what phase I'm in right now. I've went through all of those phases, throughout this course that I've been on, this journey to personal excellence. And now I'm still working on the reprogramming and the retraining myself, so that these new desires, new thoughts, new ideas, new habits, new actions, new plan all become an integral part of my subconscious, because that's actually, where your thoughts end up, in your subconscious. That's where I want it to be. I don't want to have to think about it all the time. I just want it to just happen naturally. But in order to do that, to get it to my subconscious, I have to constantly repeat things and do them daily, kind of like the 75 challenge. It's every day. It's repeating the same process, and so that it becomes second nature almost. And I've read in one of the books that most people say it takes 45 days. Well, I guess this doctor, he actually did a study. He studied the brain, and he said that it actually takes 56 days in order for it to become an actual memory or a thought, an actual part of your subconscious brain, where you just know how to react to it. And that's kind of like, I'm not day 56 yet, I'm only on day 44, but it's very much of, I don't have to think about it anymore. It's kind of like I'm conditioned. I wake up, I know what I'm going to do. The only time I have to really think about it is if I'm doing something different, like this fireman's ball on Friday. It's going to change my typical day, so I want to make sure I think about it and have a plan so that nothing gets left off, because I'm not going back to day one. I'm literally 31 days out from completing it, and I would be devastated if I had to start over, all because of my own error. It wouldn't be anybody else's fault. It would be my own. And I'm not willing to accept that loss or that defeat, because it would be my own doing. So that is the process that I'm on right now, is retraining and reprogramming my entire thought process, so that ultimately I don't revert to negativity all the time. Negativity to protect my emotions, negativity to protect my ego, put up that wall, just to prevent hurt or a blow to your ego, or having to say you're wrong or you failed. I want to accept those things, because they're part of life. I can't shelter myself from them all the time, because anger and resentment come in, when they do finally come in they come in as anger or resentment, or you take it out on somebody else because you don't see your part in it. And I want to be able to do that. I want to accept that, okay? Like if I fail, it's nobody else's fault. I cannot blame anybody. If I fall off of this challenge, there's no one to blame but me. And I need to be able to take accountability, be accountable for those actions. No one made me do anything. You know, yes, you can have somebody in your ear saying, oh yeah, take a drink. Oh yeah, nobody will know. I won't tell anybody, but I know. That's the whole thing, is that I have to be able to hold myself accountable, because nobody else will at the end of the day, you know, especially on this challenge. You know, there is nobody technically monitoring you. It's, do you have it in your mind to hold yourself accountable and keep yourself in check and be honest with yourself if you cheated or if you didn't cheat? And that's the part of the mental toughness. You have to be completely honest, and you have to be brutal and say, you know, okay, you didn't drink, you only drank, you got one more glass to finish your gallon, and it's 11:30. You better chug then and finish that last glass. You know, you have to be able to do that to yourself, because you're the reason why that it was 11:30 and you still had maybe one more or two more glasses to drink. So it was nobody else but you. But you have to be able to be honest and say, okay, I haven't finished, I better hurry up and get it done. Or like that one time, it was 11 o'clock and I still needed, or 10:30 or whatever, 10:45, I still needed a 45-minute workout. I had to do it, and I had to bust my butt to get it done because I was not starting over. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of the process that I've been going through on this journey, you know, to personal excellence and becoming the best version of myself. That's kind of the process that I've gone through. And, you know, I'm in the last phase of it, you know, retraining and reprogramming, and it's a daily process. But it's not impossible. You know, like they say, if you believe it, you can achieve it, as long as it's, you know, realistic. You know, I didn't sit here and come up with an unrealistic goal. I mean, although you can, because then that makes you just try even harder to get there. And if you don't succeed, you still came a long way, especially if you have one that's extremely outrageous like me. Like, what if I just said, okay, I'm going to do the 75 hard challenge, and then at the end of the challenge, I'm going to compete in a bodybuilding contest? Okay, that's really tough, but it's not unattainable. It could happen, but I'd have to be 100% dedicated and driven to that goal, because people do it all the time. You know, to me, it's unrealistic, but it's not in someone else's world. But anyways, you know, that was just something I was thinking about, you know, that in order, especially with, you know, 31 days left in the year and 31 days left in this challenge, you know, I'm thinking what is next after I get past the retrain and reprogram. I'm already thinking, okay, is there still something? I'm going back to step one. You know, at the end of this challenge, I'll go back to step one and I'll ask myself those questions, you know, what is there still something that I need to stop or change or end before I can complete this journey completely, you know, and become the best version of myself. So, you know, just remember that in order for something to begin, something has to end. And it can be painful. It can be a painful ending. It can be a hurtful ending. It could, you know, it's not going to be easy, especially the deeper down that your vices go or the habits go. It'll be more painful. It'll be more sorrowful. It'll be harder. So just know that the ending's not going to be pleasant. Whatever you do decide to end, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fun, and you may shed some tears because you have to confront it. So, you know, just ask yourself, you know, what has to come to a stop? What is actually hurting you? And be honest with yourself. Nobody wants to be honest with themselves, but hey, you don't have to tell anybody. You know, no one's going to know, only you. So my quote then is, oh, this is actually the guy who had talked about the 56 days and study the brain. John Assaraf. I hope I said that right. I probably did not. I butcher the last names all the time. It's Assaraf. And his quote is, or his mantra, you know, this is his phrase, which I love it. You know, I'm probably going to write it down and put it as my screensaver on my phone and as my laptop background. Do more of what you love, less of what you tolerate, and none of what you hate. You know, perfect mantra to live by, and that's what I'm striving to live by. Doing more of what I love, less of what I tolerate, and none of what I hate. So, food for thought. That's your food for thought. What would you like to stop? All right. I will see y'all tomorrow. Remember, you're great. You're important. You matter. I believe in you. I know you can do it, especially with this, you know, recognizing step one, recognizing what you'd like to stop or change. And do it today. Don't wait till the 31st or, you know, January 1. Do it today. Start today or start tomorrow. One little step in the right direction is progress. Become a champion and delete regrets, hit reset, and unleash your new mindset. Oh, I also want to, before I go, I just finished this excellent book, you know. This is the graduate version, he calls it, of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Extremely great book if you are seeking information about financial stability and becoming financially literate. And now that was for finances, so now I'm going back to personal development and personal growth. And this was my next book that I'm reading, Success and Something Greater, and it's from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. This is actually from the authors who wrote 3 Feet from Gold. So I'm also starting this one, and it's really good as well. And I'll probably read some more because 10 pages, I ended up reading probably like the whole chapter because 10 pages just wasn't good enough. I needed more. All right, so see y'all tomorrow. Again, happy hump day. Have a good one.